So you just know, like, look, if 4 people show up, we're still in the money. We're not in it as good money, and to be honest, like, how many people run a funnel and make a boatload of money the first time?
Right.
So, so you have to kind of look at it as a way of like testing, improving, and be like, okay, we covered the venue, we covered the airplane tickets, we covered the housing, and we made a little bit of money each, right? But the main focus was like we actually recorded all our video assets, right? We fine tuned some stuff, and now we have more things that we can use to run to do promotion better. Or it's like everybody hears about the idea, they love it, they like the affiliate deal where we're giving 20%, and they're just like sending us people, and we got a packed house, right? So I'm not exactly sure what's gonna happen. I have faith and hope in my heart of what could happen. So that's kind of where we are with that.
Okay.
Besides that, I just wanted to check in with you again, see how you're doing, see if there's anything I can do maybe to help you out. I asked the question, how can I help you? And it's how can I serve you, or process some stuff with you, or talk about some stuff. Maybe kind of get some feedback from you. How are you feeling about things? We're almost getting about a week since we had our phone call last week. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We just gotta get clarity on the cost or on the price of coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're in a contract relationship, I would definitely expect like speaker fee or something like that.
Right.
So we have to talk about that.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have to be a percentage of whatever comes in. And then like literally like, hey, this thing works financially with 3 people who pay, right? And then if 10 people come, you just get paid more, right? Because that's what I'm in it for, is a percentage of everything, right? Like,
right.
And same deal with Alyssa,
Yeah, that's probably not going to work for me on my side. Yeah, so we'd have to just see if that's a fit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can tell me what your minimum is for what you need, and then
Well, to be clear, are you looking for me to cover certain things, or do you want me to, do you take care of the copywriting and email? What has changed? What do you want now?
Well, part of it is kind of how we talked last week. Was I'd like for you to kind of see how some parts of our culture and our team are run, and feel comfortable with what how things are going. And then on any new web projects, here's what I say, like, hey, I have this open requirement on doing this piece of the content for this site. Are you interested? Right? And then even when I have some discovery calls with clients, have you involved on the discovery call just to kind of see how we do some stuff, and and then for me to see how you handle discovery calls, to see there's a good fit there. I feel like there is, because my primary goal is to not have to do every single discovery call. But just want to understand how that's going to work, and then the discovery call leads to being part of the content team, right, and producing content and things like that, and then telling you, hey, here's my budget for content for this website. Can you or your team handle it? Everybody on the team right now is part of the deal is that they also build their own offer, and kind of we had talked about you building like a content writing school for supporting the SEO industry, and also supporting like the I guess like the internet marketing industry. I don't know if that's something that you genuinely feel like, oh man, that's really what I want to do. I know you've registered some URLs like Kingdom Copywriting and things like that. So just even talking about that, like what's your long-term vision? How's it going to work? Things like that. You know.
Yeah, I'm definitely hearing a lot of like employee type talk, which probably doesn't interest me. Like this, like doing discovery calls, that's a sales position. That's a sales position. The copywriting stuff, for you to farm out SEO stuff, that's like, that's task work. Some I'm a little unclear on that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in an ideal situation, what are you looking for? You know, that'll make it easier.
I'm not sure. You kind of shift things up significantly. So, to go from being a founder, and doing something collectively to a contractor, that's a little bit different, right? So I'm definitely out of that employee mindset. So that doesn't interest me because I definitely have done, these things in different capacities. So I'm capable of doing these things on my own. So I'm not sure, doing discovery calls, that sounds like you're looking for, labor to do discovery calls, sales calls, and then onboard and then get a commission. Is that right? Like, you're kind of ambiguous with what you're saying.
Well, the discovery call piece is because when we talked last week, you said that's one of your super strong suits, right?
Right.
Discovery call, who, what, where, when, messaging, right? And then not just to do it for yourself, but then to mentor and train some other people to do it in the way that's going to be super effective, and essentially mentor and train other people to partner with the Holy Spirit to do discovery calls.
So building a sales team.
Well, not just a sales team, because if you do the discovery call right, then your content piece is going to be a lot easier to do, right? So, because again, that's the reason why SEO is so different. It's because you're melding buyer psychology, messaging, sales, all of that together. And that's the reason why a lot of customers don't know how to make their websites work, because they don't even know what their buyers want, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So so again, it's still not clear. So discovery calls for the SEO and that stuff. So are you looking to hire someone to do sales calls? Are you looking for like a high ticket closer that would then do the content stuff? If I'm looking to train people on the copywriting stuff and build out a team, is that something that you're going to want to commission me to build? You're not. I feel like you're not very clear on this.
Well, I mean, the section of the business that you feel super strong in, I have no problem turning it over to you and saying, here's a percentage of the business that I'm willing for every dollar that comes through to attribute to that. And then you go, okay, awesome. I can work with that. Taking a percentage of every dollar, in my opinion, is more than an employee. It's an equity partner, right? It's not like I said, I can only attribute like $125 for the project no matter what.
Sure. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, you're saying build out a team and train them. So where's that effort coming from? Right?
That effort's coming from the fact that I think the volume is going to be there for that. Initially, it may be you, but once we get to a certain number, we're going to have to bring in more, right? And
no, I understand that, but what the effort as far as looking for people to hire, to train them, to pay for them, all of that stuff, right? So where's those resources coming from?
It's going to come from the active engagements. I mean, a lot of the people are still going to be contractors that work for us. I don't think there's going to be a lot of traditional W-2s on the team.
So you're saying you'd sell something and then wait until then to then hire, train, and someone else
Well, I mean, that's what we've been doing, we get an opportunity to put a proposal out there at a higher price than what we were doing before, and then as we're doing the proposal, you know, we have to exercise a little faith and say, okay, here's my ask, here's what I'm looking for, here's what I need. And either they're already there because we've taken some foresight to start to mentor and train junior people who are now going to grow a little bit more by taking on a little bit more responsibility. Things like that. I mean, this is a very non-traditional way of doing things, for sure. And in some ways it could be a little scary because it's not the way other people do it, you know. So, you know, it's gonna take a little faith, but not like a little faith like I'm gonna take care of you later faith. Like every project you're involved with, that there's, you know, that's a payable client, there's gonna be a dollar amount attributed to that. You know, again, and I mean, I work on percentages, and I think they're, you know, things like that.
And what percentages are you thinking about?
Well, for content?
Well, for the events?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about percentage. You said you wanted a fixed number, so you can tell me what you're interested in.
Well, I know. Well, you're proposing that, so I'm trying to figure out what's in your head. Because for, you know, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what's in your head because you're really being vague, Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, probably somewhere in like the 20 to 25% range of everything that comes in. I mean, you know, we're attributing 20% for sales or affiliates, so that's gonna come off, you know, and then we figure out the other numbers.
Right.
And remember, if you acquire the client, you bring them in, then that's on top of, right? So.
Yeah.
Does that sound fair to you or worthwhile to you? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're probably a little bit, you know, further away than from where I would want to be, but and the SEO content
at 20, I mean, the only other place would be 33, right?
Right.
So we're 13.3 points away.
Yeah, I have to sit with this because this is this feels a bit off to me. This is something that just doesn't sit well. I'm not sure what that is yet.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel it right now. You know, you kind of went dark, and then, you know,
Well, sure, it was very odd, the communication. It was certainly very odd where you're, you know, including a team and then obviously completely taking a, you know, 360 turn, which is totally fine. I could honor that, but that's certainly very odd.
Well, it's not odd. It's that and openly telling you the tendency was to do this, right? And then like things are really clicking and everything like that. But then you know, take a step back and be like, look, before things go too far, if it's allowable to say I would like to kind of like redefine it and then say, look, let's make a dating period, which I thought you had agreed to, and I thought that was a great conversation, right? You know, it's better to have done it earlier before there were any more misunderstandings, right?
Well, so it wasn't misunderstanding. It was a shift in position, and then the reality of not having Alyssa on the calls either kind of makes me feel that obviously that this is your event, and you're looking for contractors to fulfill. This isn't a partnership or a you know, or something of coming together. This is clearly your event, and you're looking for people to fulfill those roles. So, you know, even not having Alyssa on the second call was definitely disheartening, right, or odd.
Well, it was at an earlier time, and she stays up until 3, 4 a.m. You know, I
For
communicate,
something that important,
and
I would probably.
I've communicated with her very openly about the communication that I've had with you, and I mean, again, like I have no problem with talking to her about it. You know,
Sure.
and you know, look, obviously some things have cooled off. You know, the way that I communicated stuff to you, it's not exactly in the way that you want things to be, right? Um, and you know, where things are is that there's certain things that I have to just figure out for the business, and if it's not the right place for you, I get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I still think you might need clarity on the expectations, because even the SEO stuff is not really clear, right? You're saying, okay, so you can, I could fulfill the contracting stuff, but that's
well, there's
still
two
like
parts of content for SEO. There's two things. There's paragraphs and sections for different places in the website that are almost always the home page, the services, the about us, some call to actions, right? And then the other part of the content for a website is 500 to 800 to 1,000 word blog posts for SEO. And those are areas that are, needed. Those are areas that I can easily see you build a nice, profitable business. And I think they're valuable pieces of the pie. They're valuable pieces per contract as well. Per client or engagement, and monthly ongoing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit with this. And I think I need to think about a few things, because I don't have more clarity than I did from the last time we spoke.
Well, I mean, we got a percentage out there, right?
Yeah.
And, for me, kind of like re-clarifying things last week on Thursday, I did feel like it was an important thing that needed to be communicated. And yeah, like the way that I am looking at it is I am responsible for the whole team, and so it's pretty important. And if there's some stuff where you worked for a lot of other big names in the past, right?
Absolutely.
Now, did you work with the expectation of becoming a partner, or did you always just work as a contractor?
Both different scenarios. I always got paid first, right? So there wasn't this, it wasn't this potential rev share that you're outlining. Either I was always paid first in a retainer position, where I was the expert, I was the thought leader, helping them build, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I was a partner where we shared in both the profits and other things, and effort.
Profits, efforts, upfront money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on what it looked like, right? If someone had resources, but then another person has time, right? That's a conversation that was had. That's why I clearly it was about money, right? Because on one day we're so gung ho, I'm answering and improving everything, right? And that's that. And the next day, such a major shift, it only could be about money. Because I asked if there's anything on my side that that swayed you either way. So it's clearly, it's not a collection or partnership. It's your thing. You're looking for contractors, which is fine. But and then the other part was money, which again, I have no spirit of offense surrounding that. It's good to have that very clear, and then we just have to talk about what that really looks like and get clear.
Yeah. The reality is, I mean, I have cash reserves that came in. I have clients that are paying me this month. I'm looking at what is it going to cost to, like, set up Tampa. it is what it is. Like, and other people, yeah.
What,
If they're
what
gonna,
does that mean? When people say that, that's very dismissive. It is what it is.
no, I mean,
That's very
that's
yeah.
just, it is the reality of the cash flow situation. That's what I mean. And I'm sorry that I didn't mean to say something that, use a statement that you know, that you interpret that way. It's my fault. I don't, but like, yeah, like, Alyssa's giving me some numbers. Here's what it's going to take to reserve the space in Tampa. I'm looking at that. Here's what it's going to take for me to get an airline ticket to go down. Here's what it's going to take for me to, rent a housing, rent the housing situation to get down to Florida. That's kind of what I'm looking at as like startup costs, right? And then, get there. Obviously, like, we've made it very clear, like, if people make a financial commitment to the event, if they can't show up, we're trying not to give the money back and just say you're going to have a ticket to come to another event within 12 months. But if somebody buys tomorrow and then cancels like 5 days later, we got to give them their money back, right? So, but I mean, that's like, just, yeah, on the money side, it's really trying to make as like minimum safe, commitment to a date, and then promote to it, and then see what happens, right? And again, maybe that's just like a little bit of, not having 100% confidence in it, and then, like I said, we had already talked about potentially moving the date back, but I know, like, I kind of felt like if we move the date back, then it's never going to happen, and we're just going to totally cool on the idea. So that's why we just decided not to move the date back and to stick to the date, and that means, like, I'm making some financial commitments to lock the location in, and if there's an uncertainty from you that, like, you're gonna get paid if you do this, feeling from me to you, and there's not much more I can do to make you feel comfortable about that, then I totally understand. You're coming into this with different experiences from the past, right? And me being able to convince, people to want to be involved, they have to make a decision on their own, and I have to do my best to be the best leader, right? And having these discussions with you is very good. I don't want you to think that they're like offensive to me at all. I think they're very healthy.
I don't take it that way at all. I don't take it that way at all. Because we're just getting clear, and so to be clear, this is a Sammy thing, and you're looking for contractors to fulfill. This isn't a partnership, even with Alyssa.
At this time, no, I can't tell, right? Would I love to have you be one of the top guys that are running a big portion of the deal and very happily paying you a percentage of every dollar that's coming through as a partner? Yes. Is that my vision for Robert? Yes. Does that mean it's going to happen? I don't know. Right?
Okay, and with Alyssa, and same thing. Alyssa's a contractor or a partner?
Alyssa receives a percentage of all the deals that come through, right? And I hope that she will continue to stay involved. But everybody has been openly told by me, I want you to develop your own offers also. And if you're doing things that are complementary to this, great. If you're building out a totally separate offer for your own deal, awesome. God bless you. I don't have any jealousy towards your other thing that you're developing. And, do I look to Alyssa to grow into an amazing art director and have more younger people working for her? And, yeah, great. That's what I expect. Can she become that person? Yes. Will she become that person? I don't know. I'm going to do my best to be the best leader I can to help guide her there. And that would be the same for you. That would be the same for some other people who are on the team. would I love to give you a percentage of every dollar that comes through for the projects that you're involved on, or you've mentored and trained people to be involved on, and you're checking in with guys? Yes, of course.
Right. Then I'm going to sit with this. I'm not saying no right now, but I could tell you I'm going to tell you I'm not at a no, but I'm definitely not at a hell yes.
Well, sure. You know.
To be very forward, I just have to sit with it, right? I just have to sit with it, and that's my truth. Even in your language today, it's just like kind of evasive, where I ask like the direct question and it's like kind of weird. I don't know if that's because
well,
you know,
the initial response, look, yeah. I'll be honest with you, the initial response may not have been like exactly what you wanted, right? But I didn't just dismissively kill the conversation, right? And
the initial response
was totally trash. I get it. You know what? That's, I think, a big part of this. And as backward as you may think, you being that person is going to help me a lot. Doesn't that kind of, some weird backward thing way, work out better than the way your discussions went with Pedro?
Not much better. At least I had clarity that at least I knew up front very clearly that he was an asshole. To be honest.
Okay.
Right.
But
like,
but after I had time to process what you were really asking, did you get a better answer?
No, I got, honestly. Are you talking about the second day or talking about today?
No, today. Are you getting better answers, or are you still getting
I'm getting better answers. They're still evasive, which I think that's weird.
What's evasive? Like let's really process this out. That's what I'm here for. You know, like, tell me what's evasive, because if it's evasive to you,
I asked 2 or 3 times. You know, is this a partnership or is this a standing and hiring contractors?
Okay.
And you didn't answer that directly at all.
I thought right? I did. I mean, a percentage of every dollar that comes through, isn't that a partnership?
Again, that's evasive, right? So that's not a partnership. No, a percentage or everything that comes is not a partnership. That's a rev share basis, which is also commission or high ticket. So no, that's not a partnership.
Okay. So, all right, this is really good. Tell me
Come
what
on.
you...
Bro, you have a finance degree. Come on.
I don't have a finance degree. You know, and
didn't you say you went to... what did you say you went to school doing stock trades and financial?
No. I was not a financial trader. You can look up...
Come on.
Look, I was a quality assurance analyst with PricewaterhouseCoopers and a quality assurance in software. And to be honest with you, in all the other stuff that I've done, I had an agreement with the principal of the company. For every dollar that I brought in, I got this percentage, and I was very happy with that.
Sure, because you were a well-compensated salesperson, or fulfillment, which is fine. That's an entrepreneur.
Well, not fulfillment. Yeah, I mean, I was a salesperson. I acquired the business, and I got paid my agreed percentage for acquiring the business, and you know, so I own my client piece, right? I own my customer flow, and that's what it was. And I always had security in the fact that people came back to me. Right now, in your case, you know, not having to worry about client acquisition and just handling a piece, and then receiving a percentage for handling a piece. You know, so more like, and so I am genuinely telling you, that's how I felt about my prior businesses. Agree on a percentage and take a percentage when the money comes in, and I'm totally cool with that, right? And the guy that I've been with for 4 years has paid me whenever the money came out, and I was totally cool with it. But he was honorable in that he wasn't using company money to float his lifestyle. You know, but he's one of the only guys I ever met that did that, versus other people. So.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just being mindful of that. I'm also being mindful of Generally how start a relationship is how you end it, right? So in the start of the relationship, like immediate, less than 8 hour, completely, shifting, right? What else might we shift on? That's a major decision,
Well,
right? Those
yeah.
are red flags. Like those are red flags. Like that.
Well, so let's imagine I met a girl and everything was popping on the first date, and then I felt really convicted and guilty, like, man, I said some stuff that I shouldn't have said. Before the second date, wouldn't it be better to try to get that cleared up to see if there's a way to, salvage some stuff? And then obviously, like, on your side, you're saying, hey, that shift from Wednesday to Thursday was just way too much for me to handle, and I'm never going to get past that. And if you tell me that, I totally get it. Then I just have to.
That's not my truth. I told you that I'm not at a no, but I'm not at a yes. I think you're still building and needing to get clear on what is it. On even on the content SEO side, you're not clear. You're not clear at all. So that's why I'm not at a no. I'm not at a hell yeah. I think you need to move forward, get the venue proof of concept with Alyssa, do that thing. And I think that should be the focus. I think you need tremendous clarity on the SEO stuff because there is none, right? Because part of what you're saying is, hey, Robert, build a business, and yeah, I could send you work for that business. That kind of sounds manipulative, like, hey, if you build this thing and you spend time, effort, money to build this thing, then yeah, I could send you work with no guarantee. All the risk is on my side.
Well,
yes, that's the truth.
For my business, yes, but trust me, I know 100 SEO people. They all complain about content. It's a pain point for most SEO people, right? So, again, that's just a recommendation to build out a thing. And again, if you don't feel any fire on that recommendation, I get it, man. It's cool. It's just what I see as a need in the marketplace because of, the struggles where I'm at with 14 monthly clients and looking to get to 50 monthly clients and see, like, what are some of the pinch points that I need to fix so that the confidence to go from 15 to 30 to 50 to 60 to 100 clients is smoother.
If you're making money, you should be able to hire a writer in-house. Unless you don't want to, or unless it's just about margins.
No, it's an English major versus an SEO writer. It's like you have to mix the best of both worlds. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you've been in Ray Edwards training, so you understand a lot more about copywriting than I do.
Right.
So and then to add that extra piece of also knowing what Google's algorithms are looking for. If you're in the world of pushing traffic to something, that's different. But now we're trying to manipulate Google's search robots to put our clients' websites at a higher position to be offered as a suggestion for search results.
So are you not able to train someone on that right now, currently?
It's a very tricky thing. And currently, right now, I have not successfully been able to find somebody to take a direction on, hey, I need a content article written on 3 things that you need to do for your automotive maintenance and make it and then them give me back something in a reasonable amount of time with a reasonable amount of budget and go great. I haven't found it yet. And when I talk to other SEO,
I think if you write out those things, that's when we can have a real conversation. Because depending on the, again, turnaround time, depending on the cost, depending on the niche, like depending on what that is, possibly I may fulfill on that, or I'll probably delegate it to someone and go from there. But that's a Pandora's box that you're opening without clear things. Like, hey, you have to have training somewhere, right? On this, a checklist of this, and this. That's where you have to start. Like, yeah, I need this, and this. That's where that conversation needs to start. And that's getting more clear for either if we're going to do something or if you're going to, build or coach or whatever.
Sure. I mean, yeah, because essentially you haven't written for other SEO writers, right?
I've written SEO content, but it's a different style, right? It's a different style of, making sure certain keywords are inside, but the real goal isn't keyword stuffing. It is, the actual content. So it really depends on, what your recipe or perceived, secret sauce is, and build that. Because I could go to a bunch of websites and get SEO content written, but yeah, they could be keyword stuff. They could be written by an Indian. No disrespect to them, but they're not native English speakers. So, but that is a solid SEO article. What's your secret sauce that you believe will be better? That's what needs to be, very clear.
Yeah. So it's good for you to tell me that that's what I need, and yeah, so. Yeah.
I think we should start there, right?
That's
I think if anything, we could start there and start the relationship that way, because I'm definitely don't want to repeat, old patterns of mine where, I'm building someone else's business, building someone else's kingdom, and I'm not building my own assets or feeling that way.
I agree.
Right? Or feeling manipulated or feeling different stuff, right? So, the conversation on the second day, honestly, was no different than conversations with Pedro, except you were way more succinct. But, but it was ultimately the same thing.
Yeah, and if that outcome was the same for you when the phone call ended, I am truly sorry about that.
Well, again, I'm further along in my growth and healing where I had some grace, where I'm like, you know what, let me sit with this, let me not have any thoughts, and then as more thoughts came, I'm like, okay, I can understand that, that's a business decision, I get that. That's a little weird if it was just about money, because this is a proof of concept, right? But it doesn't matter, because I honored your decision as a business person. You that's why we're in business, right? So we have free will to do whatever we want, more control. But if it's, I have to still do what's true for me.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
So yeah, I have no weird feelings with that. That was a little disappointing, right?
Well, yeah,
so
and
we were hitting a groove.
Right. So when you tell me those feelings, what I'm genuinely saying that, like, I am sorry that happened, but not sorry that my plan of action happened and you just got to deal with it. But I'm genuinely sorry that it happened because of a mistake that I made, right? Not like that's who I am, deal with it. There's a difference between saying sorry in two different ways, right?
Yeah, Sammy, I don't think that whole shift was you being a bad guy at all, right? So I don't have any of those feelings. I'm more of, man, that sucks. That probably should have been thought out more, and lots of other things. But that's not my business to say or whatever, right? So I have no weird feelings with that. I was just more, this smells like a previous pattern. That tells me I need to readjust myself, right? Because I can't control you or your stuff, right? I want to dictate what I'm doing. So yeah, I think that could be healthy if you wanted to continue the conversation, see what the SEO stuff could look like, right? Get clear on that stuff, and we could talk more about that and go from there.
Yeah, I honestly think I do appreciate you taking the time to really kind of wrestle with this conversation with me. It is very helpful to me, and I don't want it to just be beneficial for me to grow in this, So I want you to know that I do really appreciate you taking the time to communicate this.
Sure.
As crappy as you may feel about the shift, and then to be like, okay, let's keep an open door and figure out if we can address the content thing, and and I can give you my requirements for content, and you say these requirements are crap, nobody will get good direction, you'll never get good deliverables back. Okay, awesome. And tell me how to do it better, right? Then we do it better, then we figure it out. I'm totally cool with that. I think in some way that's probably why you've been kind of entered into my life, but I don't want it to be just that, right? But I think, like, this conversation could have went way worse if it was like 6 months ago, for both of us, I think, right?
Yeah, I probably would have just said you're an asshole to on video.
So.
Or worse.
Right.
I'm working on myself. Miles Monroe, Orphan Spirit, Spirit of Offense. I'm doing the work, Sammy.
Yeah.
Right? And
So
I seriously don't have any weird feeling towards you. I think the situation sucked. Right? I needed some time to process that and just to go through my stuff. Right? I don't feel bad about this conversation because I'm confronting it and, telling you what I think is the truth. Because if it happened to be forward, if it happened to me where I'm honestly more evolved or more experienced than probably a lot of other people in 100X, then imagine those unsaid and those unspoken conversations that are going on with people you're having. I don't know. Might be helpful to identify.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's just a part of me learning and getting better and being more clear. And I think it's gonna be helpful. So again, I appreciate it. The Tampa one, if it's a test, it's a test. If it works, it works. And like I said, we talk and you say, hey, here's what I need to show up to an event. And if it works, and if that's a number, great. In terms of you sitting in on a call, I just wanted you to kind of, I did want to just see you kind of observe how we do the discovery call process and really openly, like, identify with, partnering with the Holy Spirit. I think that you have been moving in the prophetic for quite a long time in your life, and then in some ways maybe not recognizing it until retrospect, right? And there's a lot of amazing gifts that you have, and yeah, I'd love to see you grow in them, and grow in them for your personal business as well as grow in them for potentially our combined business, or continuously adding value in the ways that you feel like this is a great value exchange for me, with compensation plus or this or that, right? So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So all right.
All right, man. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm complete. Get clear on the SEO stuff, and let's continue the conversation. And I'm open to it. So again, that I'm completely transparent with with everything I said. That's a state of things, which I think is healthy for you to know and for me to communicate. So I think there's a gift in there, as far as maybe cleaning up some things on your side. It's certainly a gift in me being a little bit faster in communicating things on my side. But I really have been busy with fulfilling.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give this the the respect that it deserves, right? So me talking that in the evening, like I was hoping yesterday, you weren't going to get the best of me.
No.
So
well,
so that's where I'm at with things. So
that's
if you want
good.
to continue the conversation, let's do it.
Yeah.
And let's see where it goes. I'm cool with that.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate your taking the time to communicate this. And I definitely see, there's a lot of growth, opportunity, and not just like using that as some weird catch term, but in reality, I think there is. And the beginning of the conversation to the end, there's a mood shift. I think that there was somewhere where there was. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good night. Let me know what's up, all right?
Okay, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Those t-shirts came in? And the hoodie?
Is this all for this one order, or you guys just ordered extra?
Yeah, that's for one. Well, we ordered extra.